Ever lost your perfect code and ended up with a mess? So today we'll talk about a solution to this using Git, GitHub, and version control. So let's take an example. You and your friend are working on a project and you create the first version. And then on the day two, your friend creates another version and everything is going good. And on the third day, you and your friend collaborate and create a new feature, and that results in your code completely crashing. And you feel like you want to burn this code down and go back to the previous version. This is possible using version control. So if you have your project in your directory and then you want to version control to that, then first thing you'll have to do is download Git desktop. So if I show you, you just have to go to Google search, and over there you have to write download Git and then click on the first link, and based on your system you can just click on any one of them and download Git in your desktop. So once you do that, then only you can send your code file to your staging area. So that's very essential step. So for this we use a command called git add. We'll see all of this, how it all works in VS Code as well. But for now, a general overview. So now from staging area to git local repository, we will use a command called git commit, right? So all this will help you put your file into the git local repository. Now, how do you go back to the previous version? That you can do by using a command called git checkout. And then you write the file name. So let's get to VS Code now and see all this in action. So here you can see I have my project name newsletter, and within that I have created an article1.txt, and I'm going to write a basic fact. Yeah, so this is my basic fact. So now let's initialize Git. So first thing, Git init. I'm in my project directory and then I'm typing Git init. And now you can see it's mentioning that in my newsletter directory, a .git file is created. But I can't see any .git file over here because it's a hidden file. So from a PowerShell, if you want to view hidden files, then you'll have to put this command, that is get child item and then space force. Okay, I'll press enter, and here you can see that your git folder, even the hidden folder or the hidden file, is also being mentioned. So now let's go and check the article1.txt that we have created. Where is it now? So I'll do git status to check where is it now, and here you can see in red, that means that your article1.txt is not yet in the staging area. Okay, so to put it in the staging area, we're going to write git add article1.txt, right? And now it's added. So now let's go back and check the status again. Git status, and here you can see it's written in green. That means that your article 1 is now in your staging area. So now to go and push it to our git local repository, we can use this command, git commit -m. Okay, so here you can write the message that you want. Okay, we have created article1.txt. That's it. That's going to be my message. And here by default we use present tense. It's a convention. And now I'll put submit, and here you can see it's committed. To see the commits, you can use git log command. And so here we can see the commit was made to the main branch, and here you can see our commit message as well. So now moving on, if I make some changes to this version, right, and maybe I write Japan is a developed country, and now it's auto saved. So now if I want to go back to my previous version of my code, then I can just put this command git checkout, then the file name article1.txt, right? So take a close look over here if it's changing back to UAE. So I press enter, and here you can see it's changed back to UAE is a developed country again. So this is how you can do version control in locally. So suppose you want to send your code, right, to a remote repository where your friends can access it and collaborate on it and improve it, make changes, then you will have to send your code to GitHub, right? So for doing that, firstly, you have to create a GitHub account, and then you just have to go to github.com, create account. Then after you're logged in, /new, and you can create a new repository. So here I'm going to create repository name newsletter. Yes, so newsletter is available, keeping it public, not adding a readme file as of now, and I'm going to create the repository. So now it's created. The only thing you have to be concerned about is this link over here. So this will help you link your local repository to your remote repository or GitHub. So I'm going to copy this, come back to my code over here, and now with some two simple commands, we can put all our code to, or we can send all our code to our remote repository. So the first command will be git remote add origin, and then you can put the link, okay, to your repository. This will connect you to your your remote repository. So I'm pressing enter, it happens successfully. Now to push all your code over there, okay, now here we have an article, so we are pushing an article. For that we'll have git push command, git push -u origin and name, right? So this is the main branch. We're sending the code to the main branch. That's why we put main, and press enter. It takes some time, and yes, it's done. So now moving back over here, if I refresh, you can see that your article1.txt is there, and you can see the text as well. So we have successfully sent our code to the local repository. So now moving on, so we have done this. We have also done this, sending our code to the local repository, remote repository. And now we're going to see what is gitignore. So at times you have a project that's so big, like in our backend projects, we had our node modules. So it was having a lot of folders, files within it. And if you like, node modules is something that the other person can just initialize in their own computer as well. So why send all that file to your GitHub, right? And when the person downloads, it takes a lot of time. So for that, we can make, right, your project ignore certain files when it has to send it to GitHub. For that, we have gitignore file. So let's see practically to understand it better. So going back to VS Code, now it can or not only be node modules. If you have some API keys and you have stored it somewhere, you don't want to send it to your to GitHub, right? Otherwise, someone else can just exploit and use it all. So over here, if I create a new text file, okay, secrets.txt, and here maybe I'm having my API key. I don't want to send that. So some sample data, and now you can create within your project, you have to create your .gitignore file. So it's created, and within this you can write the name of your file that you want to omit. Okay, you want to omit it from sending. So secrets.txt. So once you do that, you can see that it's getting grayed out. I also don't want to send my node modules. So for here, I don't have it. But in case in your project you have node modules, in backend projects we do have that, just write node-modules and a slash. So this will omit node modules as well. For now, we will not use that. Okay, and now let's test this out. Is it going to really send it or not? So the first step that you'll have to do, first I'll clear the terminal, and first thing you have to do is send it to a local repository. So we do git add, and you can use dot to add everything, and now it's added to staging area. So after this we do git commit and then -m, and then again I'll write a message that is we have created the .gitignore file. Okay, so that's done. Now we can push it. Okay, so now I'll go back to this push command. So this is a push command. We already have a link already, so we just directly push it and enter. So it'll take some time. Okay, it's done. So let's go back and check if we have secrets file or not. Okay, so I'll refresh, and here you can see git ignore is there, secrets is not there. Okay, if you click on git ignore, it says that we have ignored certain file, right? But we cannot access this file at all. Okay, so this will help you save your API keys and stuff from being exploited as well. And now moving back on, next thing that we will see is how you can branch your repository. So before that, let's try to understand why we need branching. So suppose you're working on your main branch, you have your project, a code, and you have version 1 of it. And later it goes to version 2. Okay? And now after you come to version 2, you're like, maybe I can add a new feature in it. So in that case, you're scared, like if I do it in the same main branch, what if like my whole code just crashes? So then what you can do for that feature 1 that you want to include, you can create a branch called feature or any other name, and you can work on it in this branch, a separate branch. So your main code is not disturbed at all. And you can still continue working on the main code anyways, right? And work on your branched feature as well. And then once you're satisfied with your feature and everything works successfully and you want to merge it, then definitely you can even do that using the merge command and merge it to your main branch. So usually we do this, and now let's go and check how we can accomplish this using our sample project newsletter. Yeah. Okay, so coming back here, so how do we create a branch? So first thing, I'll clear the terminal, and then it's very easy. Now you just have to do git branch and create a branch. Okay, so maybe I'll call it feature 1 itself, and it's created. To check what all branch exist in your project, just write git branch without file or your branch name. Then you can see you have two branches. One is a main, another is the feature. Now what are you currently on? You can see that using the asterisk. Okay, the branch name which has asterisk is the branch you're currently working on. So now I want to switch to my feature 1 branch. I've created that. Let me switch to it. So for switching, you have, surprisingly, git checkout. Okay, and you write the branch name. So previously we had git checkout for going for the previous version as well. Here to go to another branch as well, we have git checkout command. And I press enter. So it's written now. We have switched to the branch feature 1. So now here, if I want to make some changes in article1.txt, let me make some changes. Okay, maybe if I have to write, let me write US. Okay, is a developed country. So now we'll have to add it to our local repository first. So for that, I will use this command git add dot, okay, to first add it to the staging area. Then that's when we can commit it. Okay, so here I'll make some changes to commit message, and that's it. We can commit it as well. Now the committing has happened, and now next what we can do, if you want to merge this one, you're happy with this feature, okay, if you have a code and you're happy with that feature and you want to merge it, first thing you'll have to do is switch to your main branch. So for switching, it's again git checkout and then main. Okay, so it'll switch. Yes, so we have switched to main. So once we switch to main, what we do is we can merge it. Okay, so now let's see the merge. Yeah, so over here we can use this command git merge feature 1. So that will help you merge the feature 1 branch to your main branch. So currently on your main branch, and then you write this code. Press enter, and here you can see this change, right? If you want to accept it or not. So I will accept the incoming change, okay, because I'm happy with what changes were made, and I click on that and the change has been made. So we have merged this one, right? So the merging is all over now. So the next thing that we will deal with is how can we clone a repository. So cloning is a process where you can take a project from GitHub and download it and use it, or you can run it in your own local environment. So I'll go back to GitHub to show you how it can be done and what command do we use for that. So now I have the same project. So you as another GitHub user wants to maybe experiment on this in your own local environment, you can just click on this code, copy this, right? And then come back to your terminal, and then you can just write git clone, and you can copy and paste this link and click on enter. And further, what you have to do will usually be written in a readme file. How you can, like, based on what type of files is there, it will be said what commands you have to use to run this in your local computers as well. So using that, you can do cloning, right, of any project that's on Git whose README file is also mentioned. So as of now, I don't have a README, so we're just not going to go further with this process. But your first process would be this, right? Git clone command. And now moving on to the next core concept, that is forking a repository and pull requests. This is something that any person who wants to contribute in open source needs to know about this concept of forking and making pull requests. So let's go back. So for doing that, we'll need two accounts. So first thing, this is my account, my GitHub account, and I have created a dummy account as well named I am test hub, okay, to demonstrate how you can actually fork a repository. So now you are someone else and you want to maybe fork, okay, you want to fork my newsletter repository. So forking means that you are creating, okay, a copy, okay, of that GitHub project. Okay, this project, you're going to create a copy under your account. This is actually in my account, right? So now when you fork it, it will be created under your account. Suppose we go to I am test hub and I search for that particular repository, right? So I'm going to search for this one slash, hopefully our repository name, yes, it's newsletter. Click on enter, and now you can see you have access to that repository. Click on that and you'll have this option of fork to make your own copy, right? This copy is made inside GitHub itself. Cloning was making the copy within your local environment. You can download it. It's almost like downloading the code and working on it. But here it's forking is actually you're creating another repository under GitHub. So now I'm just going to create fork, the same name. Okay, it'll take some time, and here you can see under your name or under your account, you'll have the newsletter as well. So this is I am test hub's newsletter project. So now if you make some changes to this, okay, now instead of just UAE, I'm going to write maybe, first I will click on this edit file option and then maybe change it to Japan. Okay, Japan as developed country. Now you commit changes. Okay, so you have updated the article commit. So whatever changes you have made will only be reflected under your copy. Okay, so if I go back to the copy I have, okay, and I go into article 1, this is mine, and here if I go into article 1, it's still going to be UAE. There's no change made, right? But if I go into my insights, I can actually see what has been done, right? So over here I can see that someone named I am test hub has forked mine, and then they are working on it and doing some updates, right? But it's not merged into mine. Okay, so now if you want, okay, if you want to say the user or the owner of this repository, I made some change, I think it's well and good, and maybe it's in real life it will be like the owner has a big project, you found a bug, and then you are trying to contribute to it, right? You're trying to solve that bug, and once you solve that bug, you're happy with it, you'll commit changes to your own, test your code. If it's working, then you will want to say the owner, please, you can check this code out and it seems to solve this bug, so please can you merge it, or please can you, like, pull that particular request. So here in this same simple example, if you want the this particular change to be reflected into the original account or the original project, then what you can do is you can go over here, okay, and inside this contribute option you can open a pull request. So as another outsider who has forked this particular the main project and made some changes, you can ask them to accept it. Okay, so you can say that I have updated this particular text with Japan. Okay, and then you can create a pull request. You can write your description as well. It'll take some time, and now it's okay, its branch is created and stuff. Now if you go back, when the owner looks at their account, okay, go back to the code, and here you can see, or upon refresh you'll be able to see there's some pull request that's been made. Okay, and you can see it's made by IAM Test Hub. And now if you want to open this, okay, and see what's happening, you can check what's happened, and then you can go to the commits and you can open this one and check what difference was made in the code as well. Here this is just the article, the name change, and if you're fine with it, then you can just review changes and you can approve. Okay, you can dial or you can leave a comment or something, okay, like maybe good or something, and you can submit the review and approve it as well. Okay, so now that message will go to them. Now if you'll ask, shall we merge the pull request? So now as a owner, if you are happy with whatever change was made, you can merge it as well. You can confirm the merge, and the merge would have occurred. Okay, it's merged. So now if you go back to your code, right, the main code, previously it was UAE is a developed country over there. Now even Japan is a developed country is mentioned, right? So now you have successfully got to know how you can make a pull request as an outsider, and if it's your project and someone wants to make a contribution, how you can even merge their code, right? You can accept their pull request and merge it. So this is it about this session, and obviously this session was a little bit more command heavy, so you might need to look through all these procedures, work on your own with some simple project examples, and then soon enough you'll be able to use it in your own code, in your own projects, and you'll be able to even contribute to many other open source projects as well. So this is it about in this session, and hope you were able to understand all the major commands. I've tried to cover almost every one of it, and in the next session we'll again continue with improving our backend code and learning about EJS. So stay tuned for that, and thank you for watching.